screen. I have some books stacked up here. I'll show you what I have stacked up here so you can see. I have so many books stacked up there. I have all these books are stacked up here. These are all books that people, when I have one, they're like, oh my god, how did you get a copy of that? Because I collect their books. So I had copies of these things. But these are the ones that always shock people. Each one of these books is what I have 2 copies of. Each one of these books is only 16 pages long. And there's about 60 of them here. Very skinny little books. Tiny skinny little books. They had a cover price. $2.49 when they came out. The cheapest one of these that I bought was $75. Some of these I paid over $300 for. These are the ones that always shock people. They're like, oh my god, how did you get those? And then they find out how much I paid for them, and they're like, oh my god, how did you get those? These books were self-published, and there was only 1,000 copies of each one made. They are insanely hard to get copies of. So I hunt these down, and I've gotten most of them. I think I'm only missing 8 of them. I've got almost the entire set. But these are what I use when writing the Quaraun novels, because the Quaraun series is Dungeons and Dragons based, and the bulk of the Quaraun series is this book. It is me literally playing through this book and rolling out the dice, and whatever the dice roll lands, that's what we do as a writing prompt. So if we landed on this one that I just opened up to, the Black Chamber, this little teeny snippet right here, I would take that little teeny snippet, this one. Can you see that? Where it says Black Chamber? There it goes, it's focusing on it. Yeah, see, it's only a little tiny snippet. I would take that little teeny weeny tiny snippet and use that as a writing prompt. Just one little paragraph would become a writing prompt, and I would attempt to write at least 1,000 words based off of that. And the entire Quaraun series is written that way, with all of these. I have that shelf, which you've seen in other videos, over 2,000 Dungeons and Dragons books. This is how we write the Quaraun series. I tend to do most of this stuff offline because it's me sitting there type, and I am full focused on what I'm doing, so I end up not talking. And then when we get to the editing part, I do the editing on stream, because then it's like, I can talk. Although, why did I write this? I don't know. Let's change it. And edit things while I talk. Writing the draft itself. Defeated. Oh, you were defeated. Only one got killed. There were only 2 enemies on that. It was a new map. Anyways, I haven't added anything new because I haven't done anything. I've been on Reddit all night. I found a post on Reddit and I was like, I want to answer that. And then I typed up an answer, and I typed up an answer, and I typed up an answer, and 20,000 words later, 27,000 words later, I finished my answer. Reddit only has a 4,000 word minimum maximum. Okay, done one of these. So, I edited it down to 4,000 words, which is the maximum you can post on Reddit. Yeah, Reddit post. And posted that as the answer, and then took the big giant long thing and made it an article on my website. And I haven't done anything with Quaraun because I was on Reddit. Usually when I go on Reddit, I will look up whatever the new, and it's yeah, right here. I'll open it up and I will click this new tab. Let it refresh the page, and then anything that's new, which is usually the first 2 pages, anything that's new, and right now stuff that's new starts here because I was just got done. And so, alright, third person, omnipresent without head up. That's difficult. Well, that is difficult. Third person omnipresent is what most of the Quaraun series is written in. And it is so easy to head hop. That's a problem I have. That's a thing that you see me looking for when I'm editing to make sure. We did not head hop. Oh no, don't head hop. That's such bad writing. You know what, since a lot of the stuff that we put into Quaraun series is satire, making fun of something, we should head hop. We need a character who we can do that with. Raspberry. We can do it with Raspberry. He's good for something like that. Dazzling Raspberry. We haven't written a story with him in a while. A character who head hops and has their own little imaginary characters running around in their head, head hopping inside of their head. Shades of Grays. Such good writing prompt fodder. You've never read it, you have no clue. I never finished it. I just found it so damn boring. There were too many things like tampons that made me go, what the hell? What the hell? Okay, you need to read 50 Shades of Grey just to get to the tampon scene and go, what the hell? I know, so something Boom Fuzzy would do. I would write something like that. Unfortunately, I write stuff like that. Tampon scene. Also, I came up with a solution. We were the other day, we were on that website, that editing app we use, and it keeps coming up with ads all over the place, and I was having trouble with where, because I kept trying to move the webcam, and then the webcam would like cover up half of what I was doing, and I was like, how do we do this? And then I said, you know what, I've got this blank space up here. Why don't I put the cover of the novel that we are editing here in that blank space? And when we have an issue where ads are popping up, we can move it and cover up the ads. Because I did those ads that kept popping up the other day with driving me crazy. How do we get rid of these? So, there's the cover art for Galeman and Necromancer, the novel edition. I should put the cover art for the short story up there as well. I just knocked over a soda on me. This isn't a soda though. That is a sparkling water. By the time you see this, you will have seen the other episode. Where Ben got here. and then part of it got cut out because I had to go let Ben in, and he had bought a bunch of stuff from the store, and it was all frozen food, and we had to go put it in the freezer. We have one of those giant chest freezers. It's like 8 feet long, 4 feet deep, big, giant, massive thing. So he bought a bunch of frozen food, and it needed to go in the freezer. And there was like a half hour of the camera was just sitting here running, and there was nobody in the room. So that got cut out. Bad day. Why are you doing that? Okay. That's kind of annoying me. I have to fix this. It's just kind of annoying me. This is bugging me. I'm being bugged. Oh, I said that once on something. One of my videos. I said I'm being bugged. That has a different meaning to some people. This guy was like, "No, you're just being paranoid. You're not being bugged." I was like, what? And then I was, oh no, that too. And I went into the BIOS of the computer, and you can go in and you can track all this stuff on. And I was like, yeah, see, that too. And he's like, oh my God, how did you open that up? Oh, I don't know. I'm really good with computers. Also, there's an FBI investigation, and they track everything I do because they're not tracking everything I do. They track everything I do. They're tracking everything I do because multiple times Kendra Silvermander and her buddy Joe Bailey have hacked my computer. So they track everything I do to track back to them. And then there's the one in my car. Somebody pointed that out on one of my videos and I'm driving along, and what's this thing? There's a thing on your car. What is it? Oh no, that's a bug. That's what that is. It's up over the driver's door. There's this thing there. And it's what is that? Yeah, please put that on there. You have things like that in your life when you have a murder investigation going on. I think people fail to realize that. Oh, we have enough, and I haven't gone back and checked. We have enough. Where is you? We just went over it. Yes, we just went over it. We didn't have enough when I stopped yesterday, but we do now, so we just went over it. We can get this. This. There we go. Now, will we have enough to get those later is a question. Am I going to want those later is also the question. I'm thinking I'm going to get one of these anyways, just to get one. Oh, I needed that and that. That was a good thing to get. Yeah, see, I needed those more than I needed these. That was a good thing to get. We needed what? We needed 6 more, and yeah, we needed 6 more, so now we need 5 more. That was very good. We needed that. Also, what is the next lowest? The next lowest would be this one, 300. Oh, we're right away from that. And this one, 400. Wait, you're at 19? We can specialize you next upgrade. 400. Okay. So we need to upgrade this that one because we can specialize it. Wait, if I put you down, we get a scroll for you. Yeah. Now we need 4 more. What are you doing? We've already put something down, but what are you doing? Oh, loyalty boss. Loyalty boss is good. Loyalty boss is a chance to get that one that we did. That was just saying we needed. Also. This one I think is best for this place, right? I haven't started editing yet, I know. It takes me a while to get back into going again. Head hopping. I may want to answer that later. So, I'm going to open it. I opened this one, but then I didn't need it. Yeah. Also, what is Phrygian a character? I've never heard of that before. This one. What counts as Phrygian a character? I've never heard of that. I don't know what that means. And I read this and I was trying to figure out I still don't know what it means. I'll read what it says. It says, you all know the trope. Obviously, we don't all know the trope because I've never heard of it, so that's at least me who doesn't know it. Dropping my mouse. It says, you all know the trope. Character introduced and killed for the sole purpose of character growth. Do people do that? I've never done that in a story. I've published 138 novels. Just in the Quaraun series. I write on the 15 pen names. I have a series for each of those pen names. There's 138 just in the Quaraun series in one pen name. I've never done this. And I kill characters off all the time. I mean, I could give J.R.R. Martin a run for his money when it comes to killing off characters. I think I've killed off more than he has. G.R.R. Martin. I say G's and J's wrong all the time. You will notice that if you ever pay attention. I always reverse them. Okay. What counts as Phrygian a character? Who the hell knows? You all know the trope, a character is introduced and killed for the sole purpose of character growth. I have never heard of that being done. And I've never done it. I've never read a book that did it. So I'm wondering, what genre are they writing where that's a thing? Obviously not a genre I read and not a genre I write. Now, I want to ask, does introducing several characters in a flashback and killing them all count as Phrygian? Again, never heard of frigid, no clue. This is my first time ever hearing this word. Frigid reminds me of flufferin. My brain gets stuck on some of these weirdest words. There was a girl once, and she was going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about flufferin. I was like, what the hell is she talking about? The only flufferin I know is fluffernutter sandwiches. I was like, this was about 2 years ago? It was on Twitch. What is she talking about? Oh, yeah. And then finally I asked. And she's like, oh, you know. And she starts talking about this other guy. Okay, I know him. Yeah, he's one of my mods on my channel. He's actually my primary mod. He's the one you're going to see hanging around a lot. I've had so many people ask me, why don't you ban him? Look at the stuff he says. I'm like, what is he saying? The one who posts all the weird, crazy stuff about Avalok. That one. He knows nothing about Avalok. Absolutely nothing. Has never read the novels, hasn't played the game, doesn't seen the Netflix series. He knows nothing. He's just, oh my god, you like Avalok. I'm gonna do all this stuff. The only thing he knows about Avalok is what he sees in my playthrough, and my playthrough isn't playing with the when you see the Avalok game. Oh. So he writes these weird little fan fiction comment things in my chat. And there are people who get so upset about it. And they're like, he's not doing anything. People find reasons to get upset all the time. I'm like, why? What is with these people who are just on the constant lookout for reasons to be upset? This was a loyalty boss, right? Yeah. I'm going to, can I squeeze an epic in here? Oh, I can. Okay. Because this is going to be a really hard one to beat. Because it looks like it's full of people, and it actually does a lot of those are the enemies. It's going to be a hard one to beat. Okay, I'm being sidetracked. Let's go back over here. What we was doing. What was we doing? I was reading this. Flufferin, what I finally eventually found out, means masturbating in public. She was using that word on Twitch so that Twitch wouldn't whatever Twitch does. You can't have sexual content on Twitch. So she was using a word that she didn't think Twitch would recognize. I'd never recognized it either. Alright, where were we? Frigid. But that's what my mind is like. Then it was like, she was going, fluffering this, fluffering that, and I kind of felt, what the hell? It was like she was speaking gibberish. That's what this is like right now. They keep saying frigid. I'm like, what the hell is frigid? I have no clue what they are saying. And it's supposed to be a popular trope that everyone knows. I've never heard of it. Say you are writing a screenplay to be short film series. You're missing an article. And the character is supposed to have a very rough upbringing. Abusive mother, absent father, he's a runaway, drugs, murder, basically the death of everyone they love, sometimes by his own hands, the whole 9 yards. Okay. So, Quaraun. Reverse of Quaraun. Quaraun had an abusive father and an absent mother. And he wasn't exactly a runaway from home. His father just couldn't stand him and sent him off to a private school. He ran away from the private school to go home. So technically also a runaway. But he ran away from school, went back home. Drugs, not when he was younger. He got into that when he was older. Murder, but is there anybody he hasn't killed? Basically, the deaths of everyone he loved. Yes, he killed everyone he loved. Killed them all. Ate them till. Sometimes by his own hands. Always by his own hands. The whole 9 yards. You're missing an S. And you introduce 2 characters important to the protagonist's life. Now you either got Blue Fuzzy or Ghostbot. This is very much, it reminds me of the Quaraun series. That's why I wanted to read this. It's like they're talking about all this stuff that's a trope, and it's a popular trope, and I'm like, I've never heard of this trope, but wow, this is the Quaraun series. We're being interrupted again. You are in planning phase. Wait, is these orcs? Orcs. Okay, Orc Slayer. We need you, so we're gonna give you that. And also, he's not putting down things today, and he's been doing the full 20 minutes. I was wondering, is his wife doing it today? Because sometimes she does it, and she does play the game different. Sometimes he'll like take a day off, and his wife will run. I should just open his channel and say, my channel is actually probably hosting him right now because I've got him on top on my auto host. So my channel hosts his channel almost every day just because of the auto host. Oh, we can put down more of you. I'm gonna put down more of you. Having a hard time finding space to put down. Let's see. Can we squeeze you in here? No. Ah, we found one. The map is almost full. There's not much space left. Introduce 2 characters important to the protagonist's life. Say his best friend, lover, runaway buddy, and his girlfriend, wife, different travel buddy. And in a mid-paced narrative montage, say one ODs and one is killed in a train hopping accident, whatever. And this is supposed to send a character into a great depressive spiral with drugs, booze, fights, and murder. And all this, he winds up working for the mafia or whatever. Oh, that part annoys me. And you know why? Oh, do you know why? There is no such thing as the mafia. The term, the mafia, was created by gangster movies filmed in the 1930s. It doesn't exist in the real world. And yet, oh, everywhere you go, people are saying, oh, the mafia! Ooh, the mafia! The mafia! Yeah. Okay. Have fun. Does this count as fridging a character? You introduce these characters for the sole purpose of dying. but it is less for character growth and more as a flashback showing how he ended up the way he is in the main storyline. Too long, don't read. Does flashback death sequences count as reaching a character? And I have no idea, because I've never heard of Phrygian before. But it's funny that all of this, what he just describes here, it is so much like the Quaraun series. But if you look at the Quaraun series, it's largely based off of my own life. Every time you see a murder happen, I write it in the Quaraun series. Every time one of my uncles goes off and does some of these crazy wild things that they do, I write it in the Quaraun series. Every time another person commits suicide, I write it in the Quaraun series. There is no event in the Quaraun series that didn't happen in my life. And then people could point out, but the cannibals! Dredge Canton Lake. The heads are up there. You already know where the bodies are. They found 31 of them so far. Goosefair Brook Ravine. Right around the corner. You will notice that summer 2016, the little white pickup truck that was selling deer steaks out the back, door to door, disappeared and isn't selling deer steaks out the back. Also, have you seen the news reports about the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease outbreak? Bang. They're trying to figure out, how do so many people over such a wide area have this disease that is caused by eating the brains of somebody who ate the brains, and it must be human brains. You must eat the human brains of somebody who had already eaten human brains in order to get Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Quaraun has Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. I know several people who have it. That's why I can write Quaraun with it. Isn't that nice? Oh, there they are. That's what we wanted. That's why we wanted that chest. I had, what, 5 of them, didn't I? We definitely got 5 of them. We have a lot of tanks. What else do we need? What else do we need? We can unlock this now, right? Yes? Yes. We can unlock this now once we get 1,000 coins. Alright, 300 will unlock that, not unlock, but upgrade. We got 300. 400 will upgrade that to specialize it. 1,000 will unlock this and give us another person. Ooh, we have so many options here. Did the store just upgrade? The store just upgraded. Oh, we have more of you. Now we're down to 200. This is one of those things where he's talking about. Or she. I don't know if that's he or she. What is your bronze? We haven't put anything down on yours yet. Let's take it out. And are you still in the planning phase? You're still in the planning phase. Okay. What are you doing? Anything we want? Silver chest. You know, I would rather look for a gold chest. So Wait a minute, we didn't check yet. Loyalty could give us more of that other one. Could give us monks too. It's not a loyalty. It's not a loyalty super boss. It's just a loyalty boss. What are your boosts? Bonus to everything. What are you fighting? Okay, where are you? That's you. Okay. I can stand right there beside you. There we go. Battle in progress. Okay. I want to look for gold. We won't put on campaign. Start year replacement period. We're having one of our, hey, we haven't started editing yet today, days, which is fine. Bronze. Bronze, a lot of bronze. Was that? Oh, I don't know. It changes so many times. You only got 7 minutes and you're gold. We're gonna go with you. 7 minutes and you're gold. Do we have a tank we can give you? We have a tank in 6 seconds, 4 seconds. There we go. Got a tank we can give you. You got a vampire. We should probably put a vampire down next. We'll have time to put down one more. You're almost ready to put down something else. Ooh, a big thing opened up there. What is that? It's a support. Destroying machine grants your army 50% damage reduction. What gets that? Usually assassins get those type. Yes, assassins. Alright. You go there. Ah. Chest. Let me take you off for a minute. Jump back in on you after. Is that it's trying to open his. Yeah, it's trying to open. I don't want you to open. No, no. You had 10 minutes on that now. Because that is a good chest. It's not a gold chest, but it is a good chest. And you don't see it that often. Anyways, they're talking about writing this stuff as a trope. I was wondering. Is it a trope? Or is it just that a lot of writers come from abusive life and write about what happened to them? That's why it shows up so often. But I've never seen it. That's the other thing. So I don't know, what genre do they write in? Because I've never seen this in anything I've ever read. It's one of the things that makes the Quaraun series stand out as very unique, is the fact that it's so extreme with the endless abusiveness. And people who read it, they tell me that constantly. Oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. Why is it so violent? Why is it... nothing good ever happens to him. Why? Oh, well, when something good happens to me, I'll write it down and let you know. That's why. Anyways. Oh, and then what was that answer? This answer that says, don't worry about what critics say, worry about readers and viewers. They don't read the rules or trope discussions, and that's true. They don't. Still planning phase. Okay. Planning phase stops when it goes at 4 minutes, right? They used to be able to put stuff down immediately, and they had so many people complain the game developers changed it. A lot of the game captains were complaining. I can't get my stuff set down. Everybody set everything down already. Yeah, they do. Oh, we can't put a vampire down. We'll give you another tank. We got 2 available. But I have seen it. That's why when I know it's a streamer who usually puts down the little things, whatever you call them, the little placement markers, I tend to wait for them to put it down. I can't remember what. Wow, 1,421 points. This is gonna be a hard one because he doesn't very often get that many people in his. Okay, yes. But you got vampires. Let's put a vampire down. That did go off. I thought it did. I don't know why that keeps going off. There's so many bugs in this game. But they are still building it. It's in beta right now. Technically, this game is not live, even though it's live. It's still in beta, so everybody that's playing it's actually beta testing it. But they've got a few 100,000 people playing it. It's a pretty big game now, but it's been in beta for over a year. They're constantly updating it. They update it like every week. This seems to be a good one on this map. The game developers are constantly, yeah, right here. They put these videos up still live stream every few days. We are 44 minutes in, and we have not started editing yet because I'm just reading these things. Head hopping. You have a gold chest. And a monk. That was good. What do you got now? Oh, you got that one. And it's a gold chest. We want this one. Yeah, see, Hooks. The stuff that he designed is here in the game. So it says Hooks Berserker, Hooks Martyr, Hooks Musketeer, Hooks Centurion. Hooks is one of the game developers. Hooks is a big streamer on Twitch. I'm currently writing a story in third person, only person, and I've just discovered the term head hopping. I looked through a lot of examples and still don't understand what the difference is. Some sites say that omnipresent is an all-knowing narration, and as a result also knows the character's thoughts and feelings. Others say that it looks at things through a bird's eye view and shouldn't have narration with any of the character's thoughts and feelings. Others say that it looks at things through a bird's eye view and shouldn't have narration with any of the character's thoughts and feelings. And that third person, omnipresent, limited. There are so many different types of third person. There's third person omnipresent, third person limited, third person omnipresent limited, and then there's you'll hear it that often, third person God viewer or something. I can't remember what it was called. I don't remember them all. Somebody made a chart, and there's like 10 or 12 different ones, and I was like, okay. Well, I didn't know there was that many. Yeah, it made sense when I was reading it, but I can't remember. Who was it? What's his name? I have one of his books over there. I have 2 of his books. Like, I've got like 10 of his books. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Oh, I can't stand him. He is a horrible person. He's such a good writer, but I can't stand him. He's a jackass. Orson Scott Card. The one that wrote Ender's Game. I think he's the one that made that chart. Yeah, he's a really good writer. He's one of the, he's like Lathandy is one of my favorite novels. And if you read the Quaraun series and you know Lathandy and you're like, oh my god, you're a fan of Lathandy. Yes, I am a huge fan of Lathandy. People discover that and they're like, how could you like Lathandy? Do you know what the author did? I do. Yeah. Yep. It's one of those situations where you gotta separate the book from the author. You really do. Well, the same thing with the Witcher series. I mean, you look at Andrzej Sapkowski and then you, okay, he's a bastard out of hell. Let's forget he's the one that wrote the Witcher novels and just liked the novels. But then you read the Witcher novels and you're like, yes, this makes sense. Now that I realize what he's like in real life, I understand why he wrote it that way. Okay. That's disturbing. He probably should be in prison. Series 7 years old, and about 90% of the sex scenes she's in the Witcher series, if you didn't know that. He has a problem. Gave us centurions, which not what I was looking for, but that's okay. We did need them. This one is. You know, I can give you a vampire if our vampire unlocks soon enough. It will unlock the next time. Okay, we can give you a vampire next time because you've already got one. And vampires don't work. They don't. They just do the base damage. Their base damage is shit until you put a second one down, and then they power each other up and their damage gets more and more and more and more. And if you get a whole pod of them, you have this one bouncing off of that one and that one bouncing off of that one, and the damage they do is insane if you can get a bunch of them in a pod. But I was reading that. Where are we? Oh. Orson's card. Ender's Game the movie is it's one of those things where I was excited for that movie. And then the author was a jackass, and I was like, oh, I really don't want to pay money to watch this movie now. And then he did this interview about, so I use this term in Ender's Game because this term in the real world means that, and I wanted to make sure you knew it meant that. That's why I used it. And I was like, okay, I didn't know what that word meant that in real life. I'd never heard that. I went and looked it up, and oh my god, it does. Okay. Well, now I hate Ender's Game, and Ender's Game is one of my favorite novels. Why did you do that to it? Ender's Game is a novel about a kid playing a video game. And he's really good at playing this video game. And there's a war happening. And it literally says bugs are attacking the world. The apocalypse has happened. Now, I've heard the term gay-pocalypse before. I didn't know he's the one who coined it. The apocalypse is happening, and all the bugs are coming in, and they're killing everybody. Just before the movie was made. This was a really big, top-selling book for a long time. Sales plummeted when he did this interview. And he did this, was it on Dave Letterman or Jay Leno? I can't remember. He shocked everybody. I was like, what the hell is wrong with him? He hates gay people. A lot. And so they were, when they do these interviews on late night television type things like that, like the Dave Letterman and Jay Leno, they're both gone. Somebody else replaced them. I don't know who's replaced them, but it was one of them at the time because it was a while ago. And they have a crew of people who go in and when you go in to do an interview like that, and they tell you, no, stay away from these topics. Don't talk about this stuff. This is controversial. Don't go there. So they coach you on what you can and cannot say on live television. Clearly he didn't give two shits about that. And so the interview was asking him about, the movies coming out, and he's already a millionaire, so he doesn't need more money. This is what he's telling the interviewer. So he's taking all the money that he makes from the sale of the movie, all the royalties that he makes from it, and he started this foundation to try to find a cure for the gay disease. What? Oh my God. Trying to find a cure for the gay disease. They're going to develop a medication, and then they're going to go hunt down everybody who's gay and force them to take it, so they won't have to be gay anymore. And the plague of gayness won't be on the world. I'm listening to this guy talking, and I'm like, oh my God. And the interviewer is like, should we cut the camera? What? You can see he's under, we know. Should we go? He's getting some really. He was. Oh my God! You should have heard the stuff. You can probably find it on YouTube. If somebody had to have uploaded that on YouTube somewhere, so you look it up, you can probably find it. But then he keeps going. He keeps going. He doesn't stop. That's a question mark. You don't need a question mark. Anyways, he starts talking about how his book has a hidden theme and a hidden message. And the message, according to him, is that Christians need to be on the lookout for the gay apocalypse. All the bugs are coming out of the closet, and we gotta kill them all. That's what he said. He said that right on TV. And he starts talking about, and the interviewer was like, bugs? He's, yeah, that's a slang term for gay people. They're bugs. And he starts going on and on and on. And he says it's a common misconception that the bugs in my novels are insects. He said, they're not insects. They're gay people. He says, it's the gay apocalypse. The gays are taking over the world to kill all the Christians. We gotta fight back and kill them all. And I was like, you used to be one of my favorite authors. Now I hate you. Oh my God, what the hell? Oh. Same thing with Chuck Norris. Oh my God. Chuck Norris. That foundation that Orson Scott Card has, Chuck Norris is one of their biggest supporters, and he donates millions to them every year because he also wants to end the gay plague and cure them all so that we no longer have to deal with them before the gay apocalypse comes to kill all the Christians. And I was like, what the hell? Also used to be a person I liked, and now I can't stand him. Oh my God, what is wrong with these people? How did they get like that? And it's one thing to not like somebody because of something they do, okay, but it's another to go around and say, we got to eradicate them. I mean, there's a hell of a big difference between I don't like that person because they're doing something I don't like, and I don't like that person, so let's eradicate them. There's a huge difference between that. Orson Scott Card and Chuck Norris. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, if either one of them were political leaders, they'd just be Hitler. And they're proud of it. They think it's great that they want to kill all the gay people. And I'm like, why are you proud of that? Why are you proud that you want to have a genocide of anybody, regardless of what, who, anything? I do not understand. I don't understand at all. Did you go into dungeons? You did go into dungeons. Okay. That's what was going on. Okay, he was just getting everybody ready for dungeons. Steelhouse is question mark. I don't think I've ever seen Steelhouse not be question marks. I'm looking for loyalty gold. Any gold, but especially loyalty gold is what I'm looking for. Loyalty gold doesn't show up very often. That's fairly rare one to see. I like this map, but you're only bronze and you're a half hour. We haven't started editing yet either, which, again, that's fine. We're supposed to be editing, but you know how it is. I get sidetracked so easily. We do a question mark if it was close to the end. If it was like in the last 4 minutes or so. Flying Rogue's the only one that goes after that one up there, ain't it? Pretty sure it is. I wish it said, when you're in this section, I wish you see where it says placement period, game mode, campaign. I wish it also said how many minutes there were left, placement mode, how many more minutes, and campaign, what type of chest. You can do that one, didn't you? Let's, what's the number? 2 minutes. 2 minutes, we are going to place a thing. And is this gold or bronze? It's gold, okay. Usually that map's gold, but sometimes it's bronze. I don't know why, just sometimes. We're up to 16 on that. Still debating these skins because I'm not sure what I would use. I would use these. So let's get this. We get a chance of getting a skin from this, and maybe we'll get a skin from these. Okay, now we can put down an epic. We can give you an epic, except it is really close to ended. Okay, put you an epic in. Okay. Continuing to read this. I was wondering if anybody could simply explain what I should and shouldn't include in the narration so that it isn't head hopping. I'm pretty dead set. Omniscient. I have such a hard time saying these words. Narration. But I'm having trouble distinguishing the head hopping examples from the third person examples. The blogs I've found are giving me, even where some sites will use third person limited versus head hopping only, which blurs it even further for me. Head hopping is bad when you constantly switch between point of views every paragraph, or worse, every sentences. You might want to utilize breaking a chapter into. Your grammar is so bad that I'm reading over you, and good grammar corrected it while I'm reading, so I'm not reading what you're saying. Two sections with the, I can't remember what that's called. It's not the ellipses. It's the one that looks like the ellipses, and all I can think of is M dash, and it ain't that either. It ain't even close to an M dash. I don't know why that's the one I'm thinking of. So third person can go on without disrupting with whether the narrator is from character A or character B. For third person, since you are outside the character, i.e. a bystander narrating a helicopter crash scene, you can only... That was this map? Yes, that was this map. We want to get as many things down as possible. I was number one, it said. Third person, since you are outside, you can only stick to explaining how bad the crash is and how wounded the characters. They can groan and crawling or horrifyingly strapped to their seatbelts. What? They could groan or crawling or horrifyingly strapped to their seatbelts when the helicopter exploded. There's something missing there. There's a whole something don't match up. You can only know insofar what the character says, not what they think. I don't think they're explaining that right. I don't know. Their grammar's so bad, though, I'm having a hard time understanding what they're trying to explain. Omniscient, whatever that word, however you say that word, 'cause I can't pronounce it. I say it wrong all the time. Means that the narrator has access to everything, as opposed to limited, where a filter is applied based on the viewpoint. But that isn't what head hopping refers to. Head hopping is where you spend time in multiple characters' heads in quick succession, where the reader has to keep track of whose thoughts they are hearing at a time. This can occur in either omniscient or limited. It's easier for me to say omnipresent or limited, because it's about the viewpoint changing rather than the scope of information available to the narrator. Okay, I agree with this, so let's upload it over here. I find that it helps if, as a thought exercise, you pretend that you are a security camera monitor operator. You can describe things that happen and behavior that may imply certain feelings or choices, but you are unlikely to be able to just know that and this just tell and then just tell the audience what they are feeling, thinking. It's always your mileage, as always, your mileage may vary. Okay. It is updated, and there are now politically correct, politically incorrect. I'm pretty sure Mod's gonna delete that. So. We'll look at it. And I want to give away a free book. I'm not opposed to a free book. I'll probably never read it. But, you know, Kindle Unlimited or Kindle Price. Add to your Kindle library. It is free. Okay, add to my Kindle library. It is free. Mods are definitely going to delete this because self-promoting is not allowed. 4th of July weekend, you get to read my book for free because I'm tired of giving refunds. Celebrate the wonders of free indeed, speech in an age where speech could cost a pretty penny or a limb. Plenty of pop culture references, Jed's first ones on the house. Chivalric romance through postmodern tinted lens. What is a politically incorrect setting in medieval times? Because medieval times were incredibly politically incorrect. Thank you. Okay. You know, I don't even know where my Kindle is. I haven't seen it in years. My family was murdered April 10, 2015. So, wherever my Kindle was back then, that's where it still is. I don't know where it is. So I think I'm probably going to have to get another Kindle device. We got 50. That's good. We didn't get any bonus ones, but that's fine. We jumped in on that at the very last second. It was only a minute in, so you got a monk. You don't have a ranger. Don't we need a ranger for them? Oh, yes we do. Okay, get a ranger in there then. Yes, that top one, I was pretty sure that top one can only be killed by a ranger. What is this? It's a gold chest. It's 23 minutes, but it's a gold chest. Chests. 23 minutes. I won't wait 23 minutes. You're cute. We can come back. That's right. You're there. What do you got? Bronze chest. Nope. You can tell we do that one a lot. We got 261 campaign wins. Wow. Yeah, we do this a lot. He's one of the regular streamers that I watch regular. That's why. It's bronze, but you're ending it right now. So we'll jump in and get an extra chest. And we can upgrade you. What do we add? We add 3 damage to you. I think we should wait and upgrade this one, because we can specialize that one. I use the rogues a lot. And then unlock this one, and then upgrade that. I think that's the order we should do it. Okay. But it now has... I'm going to open a new window. Those ones are new maps. And you are still in Planet. Okay. Head hopping is all about being Jaren, an omniscient narrator that just jumps from thought to thought of the existing characters is Jaren. An omniscient, I should say that word. Narrator with their own voice and opinions can slide from head to head while still maintaining a constant feel and forward progression. So if the narrator thinks one character is a jerk, the story will refer to them that way and not show their side of things. That's not third person. That's fourth person. Very rare. You hardly ever see it. Fourth person is what the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is written in, where the narrator is either the author or the book actually talking. Hello, dear reader. That type of a narration. So if the narrator thinks one character is a jerk, and if the narrator knows that two people are having a misunderstanding, the narrator will paint them both positively while explaining what they're each thinking, rather than switching back and forth who is the bad guy, who the bad guy is the way third person limited would. That sort of thing creates a unified overall tone and the style to make it feel. So it looks like they started to write sound and then changed it to feel and didn't take it over. Omniscient is out of style right now, so it's not talked about much in writing advice spaces. And there are a lot of really popular, books that do it well. No, they don't know what omniscient narrator is. They're describing the fourth person, which is true. It is out of style, and it always has been. really rare to find anybody that uses that. Head hopping is when the reader gets confused by sudden perspective switches. For example, if Bob and Linda are having breakfast, we get a paragraph or two about Linda's opinion on the muffins, and suddenly you include a line of what Bob thinks, and we'll get confused. A good guideline to follow is to only have one character's perspective in a paragraph. That's correct. This one's got it right. It is possible to keep a distance and hop all over the place at times. Like most writing, it's one of those things that has to be used intentionally. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. I do have a problem with head hopping, and that's the thing I end up looking for when I'm writing. But then I also often keep it in, and I will do a thing where I will write and make it not head hopping anymore, where usually you see Quaraun's thoughts in narration, like third person limited, but where we're writing Keelam and the Necromancer, you are seeing multiple point of views. So you see Keelam's thoughts, and then you see Quaraun's thoughts. And most of the time, that's okay. The entire chapter is Keelam's thoughts, and the entire chapter here is Quaraun's thoughts, and it's kept that way until the two of them are then together, and then it goes back and forth, and it doesn't always go back and forth correctly. That's what I have to watch out for. I noticed I tend to do the head hopping thing a lot when Ghoulspawn shows up. For some reason, it's a problem when I'm writing Ghoulspawn. I don't know why. I don't seem to do it when it's Quaraun and Boomfuzzy, or when it's Quaraun and Balloonera Bulgar. But when Ghoulspawn comes in, all of a sudden, it has head hopping issues. I don't know why. There's something about the way I write him, I end up with having that problem. Waiting for all of those to start. And that one we've been waiting a while on. Third person has nothing to do with level of information available to the narrator. Yeah, that's what I was saying. They got it wrong. This person definitely got it wrong. Third person has nothing to do with the level of information available to the narrator. In your helicopter example, you are describing a limited perspective, meaning you don't have access to the helicopter passenger's thoughts, but you still have access to the bystander's thoughts. Yeah, see, they've gone back and edited it, and it says something different now. Yep, they did edit it. You can see the original post here. chest, but it's a half hour. Okay. Now, is this other one still available? Okay, it's now down to 12 minutes. It's the same one, right? Yes, gold chest, 12 minutes. And we got another one in between, so we have time to get a few things down. Yeah, I don't know this streamer. I don't know. What are you doing?
The Tomorrow Warp has arrived on Prime Video.
Okay. Don't want ads playing. That's not something I want. Mods have probably deleted that by now if they're online. Yep, that's gone. What do the mod notes say? At the enemy window. Just says remove. And the mods didn't leave a note. Yeah, I knew the mods would get that one fast. Right in a multi-perspective. Do I still have that one open? Did that one get deleted? I don't see it here. Anyone in this thread that are not natural raiders? What is it? Wasn't that far back, was it? Was it deleted? I thought it was right here. Okay, open the senior window. It was deleted. Huh. I wonder why it got deleted. This one. This is, I see this all the time. It's a really common question, and I never understand it. Struggling to find the main theme of my story. Anywhere I look for writing advice, I keep seeing that you must find the main theme. They use caps. Oh, they use all caps correctly. You almost never see anybody use all caps correctly. They are using all caps correctly. I keep seeing that you must find the main theme of your story so you realize what you want to transmit. Transmit? Okay. But no matter how much I try, I always find my themes too spelt wrong, complex. And I don't say it in a good way of the word. There's a theme I actually like, but it seems too spelt wrong, melodramatic for a story. What does melodramatic mean? The mage gets everything. That would explain why they put a mage down, right? You know what? I'm gonna put a mage down too. There's a theme I actually like, but seems too spelt wrong, melodramatic for a story. What does melodramatic means? It's like morbid, ain't it? Grim, cab. Is it? So I reserved that one for the antagonist. Melodramatic, relating to melodrama. Well, that tells me a lot. Characteristics of melodrama. Okay, well, what does melodrama mean? Melodrama. A sensational, dramatic piece with exaggerated characters and exciting events intended to appeal to the emotions. He gloated like a villain in a Victorian melodrama. The genre of melodrama. He abandoned melodrama for realism. Language, behavior, or events that resemble melodrama. Melodrama is things that resemble melodrama. Great. Wonderful description. What little is known of his early life was cloaked in melodrama. That is weird. A play interspersed? A play interspersed with songs and orchestral music accompanying the action. Let's go over to Wikipedia because whatever that description is, it's confusing me. In modern usage, a melodrama is a dramatic work wherein the plot, which is typical... Who the hell wrote this? Oh, do you have any idea how hard it is to get a Wikipedia page down? Somebody keeps putting one up about me, and I had Wikipedia take it down. I don't want a Wikipedia page about me. Modern usage, a melodrama is a dramatic work wherein the plot, which is typically sensational and designed to appeal strongly to the emotions, takes precedence over detailed characterization. I can't tell what you're saying. Where are you? Yes, Hemingway agrees with me. Edit this so we can read it, because I absolutely cannot tell what they are saying. A melodrama is a dramatic work wherein, okay, omit. Okay. A melodrama is a dramatic work wherein the plot. That's tripping me up. Which is, remove which. And other people's work instead of that. Wherein a melodrama is a dramatic work. Is a dramatic plot. There we go. A melodrama is a dramatic plot where sensational, which is, there we go. A melodrama is a dramatic plot which is sensational and designed to appeal to the emotions. I see where there was an error. Take precedent over detailed characterization. Okay. A melodrama is a dramatic plot which is sensational and designed to appeal to the emotions. Melodramas typically concentrate on dialogue, and which is often bombastic and excessively sentimental rather than action. It is bombastic. Bombastic. High sounding but with little meaning, inflated. Pretentious. Pretentious. Okay. Melodramas typically concentrate on dialogue which is pretentious or excessively sentimental. Why is that a tongue twister for me? Excessively sentimental. I have a hard time saying that. Rather than action. Characters are often drawn and may appear stereotyped. Drawn? Does that mean something other than pen on paper drawing a picture? I don't know. Anxiety? Fatigue? What does being drawn mean? To exert a pulling, moving, or attracting force. A sail draws by... Tongue twister's a kid. Why can't I say this? A sail draws by being properly trimmed and filled with wind to move or pass. So what does it mean? Draw. For a character. Drawn. Definition of drawn is looking very tired or sick. A drawn expression. Okay, this sounds like it's what they mean. An example of drawn used as an adjective is in the phrase a drawn expression, which means sick-looking expression. So depressed? Is that what they're saying? Characters are often depressed? What user made this, and what language do they normally write in? This reads like something where they typed it in their language and then they had Google Translate it, and Google Translate said, well, here's all these words that nobody knows the meanings of. Who writes like this? Is this what we would call bombastic writing? Words pretentious? These are words that are pretentious. Did they deliberately write bombastic writing to make a point of, hey, this is what bombastic writing sounds like? Characters are often drawn and may appear stereotyped. Period. Melodramas are typically set in a private sphere of a home, focusing on morality and family issues, love and marriage, often with... Okay, there's some grammar issues there. Often with challenges from an outside source, such as a temptress, a scoundrel, or an aristocratic villain. What's an aristocratic villain? Like Lasat? Is Lasat an aristocratic villain? See, I'm totally thinking a melodrama on stage, filmed, or on television is usually accompanied by dramatic and suggestive music that often cues the audience of the drama being presented. In scholarly and historical musical contexts, melodramas are Victorian dramas in which I can't say that word. I know what that word is, I can't say it. Orchestral? In which orchestral music or song was used to accompany the action. The term is now also applied to stage performances without incidental music, novels, movies, television, and radio broadcasts. In modern contexts, isn't the plural and singular of context the same? If you're a writer and your reader is stopping every other word to check what your words are, you are writing it really bad grammar. This grammar is horrifying. Context, plural, has an S. I have never seen it with an S before, and now I'm gonna wonder, is it only that way in American English? Can I change it to Irish? Do you have Irish here? No? No, you're not going to have Scottish here. Nobody ever has Scottish. Irish would be the closest. Quebec English would be the second closest. Maritime. Also, I just realized yesterday I have 16 catfish now. Raphael's been coming out swimming ever since the babies hatched. He swims around with them. Ben was wondering, since they laid eggs after I put a bigger tank in, filled the tank with eggs, and then they ate the eggs right after. They immediately ate the eggs. So I didn't expect anything to hatch, but then little fry started showing up, and the fry are about a month old now. Most of them are about an inch long now, or longer. The biggest one of the babies is 4 inches. The adults are 7 inches and 9 inches. And Ben was wondering, after all of these fish get full grown, we're going to need an even bigger tank. We just doubled the size of the tank and they decided to lay eggs, another 16 catfish in there. I didn't need a much bigger tank. Any idea how big of a tank I'm going to need once they finally get full grown? Their full grown adult size, they're going to be 36 inches. That's from the size of my foot up to about my hip. The entire length of my leg. That's how big they will get when they are full grown. They only grow about an inch a year, so it'll take them 30 years to get full grown. But still. Okay. We're being sidetracked. In modern contexts, the term melodrama is generally... Who the hell knows what that word is? Look at this. I can't even get to it. I'm looking at what all these words.
Pejorative.
Pejorative. I have never heard that before. Pejorative. Expressing contempt or disapproval. Permissiveness, I don't know what that word means either, is used almost universally as a pejorative term. Also means disparaging, derogatory, whatever that is, depreciatory, defamatory, slanderous, and more. A word expressing... So, Avalak. Avalak is a hate term in Elvish. That's why you wouldn't call an elf that. That's why it always gets me upset when you see it in that cutscene thing, load screen in the game where it says about how they met this elf. Avalak was his name. No, it wasn't. That's not his name. It says that in the novels. It was a hate term that the other elves called him, so he started using that as his title just to spite him. And his whole attitude was, you're going to call me Avalak? Well, guess what? It's not going to piss me off. I'm going to start calling myself that too. It's the equivalent of you call a black person a nigger, so he changes his name to nigger, so you're forced to say it all the time. That's what Avalak is. And it's a really bad term. And then the game is like, oh yeah, that's his name. His name is Krivana Spain Up Kuram and Maka. I hate slur. Okay. Used mostly in social and ethnic groups. So the N-word is whatever this is.
Pejorative.
Pejorative. I'm never going to remember that. The term melodrama, in modern context, the term melodrama is generally pejorative, a hate slur, as it suggests that the work in question lacks subtlety, character development, or both. You know, I hear the word subtlety all the time. I have no clue what it means. Let's go find out. We're looking up everything else this person is saying. Subtlety. The quality or state of being subtle. I hate when dictionaries do this. A subtle argument. Okay. What's subtle mean? Subtle. Especially of a change or distinction, so delicate or precise as to be difficult to analyze or describe. What, like this writing? So precise it's difficult to tell what the hell they're saying because they went and looked for words that nobody uses? His language expresses rich and subtle meanings. Okay. So, this page was written subtly. That's what that means. Pejorative. Got a new word for a dictionary, our brain to use. How can we use the word pejorative in the Quaraun novels? Because that just, it sounds like something Quaraun would say. Quaraun talks like this. Oh, let's choose. Pejorative. It's a Darkwing Duck word. That is so definitely a Darkwing Duck word. What is that? There's a word for how Darkwing Duck talks. Okay, pejorative. Where's my thing? Where are you? I just saw a naked picture of Siri go by. I forgot that was there. Things I do in my spare time. Oh, that's so funny. I kept getting requests. I put up pictures of Avalok all the time. They're all over my website. My website's giving pictures of Avalok. And I keep getting requests from people like, I want pictures of Avalok. I want pictures of Siri. It's my website. I want pictures of Avalok. I'm going to put up pictures of Avalok. Did you really do that? Looks like you did. Didn't you? But anyways, they kept asking for, I want nude pictures of Siri. You have that mod. Why don't you put up pictures of that mod? You never use that. Why use that mod? You never use that mod. Put pictures of Siri up using that mod. Oh, and then you heard what happened to Pornhub. It was all over the news in December, and then again a few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, it happened. Another one. In December, I started getting all these. I didn't know it had happened. No. I started getting all these panic emails. Where's the human video? And I was like, what? The human video's gone. Oh, it's hilarious. Oh, I get thousands of emails from crazy Siri fans who are, you shouldn't like Evelyn, blah blah blah. Oh, well, but you hate Evelyn, and I'm gonna hate you because you like Evelyn. And then I get these exact same people who, we hate Evelyn, we love Siri, we hate Evelyn, we're gonna hate you because you hate you I'm gonna hate you. Oh, steadily, constantly, and then half of those same people in December emailing me again. Where's the human video? The human video's gone. Why did you delete it? Put it back up. I deleted it. It's gone. So I go to Pornhub because, yeah, I have a Pornhub account. I go to Pornhub and I'm like, where's, what? Oh, wow. Okay. Everything's gone. It's all gone. All the videos are gone. Yeah, the one that had 2 million something views. Apparently from all those people who, they just hate Aflac, you know. You hate Aflac so much, you're gonna watch that video 2 million times. Okay. But then all these people are just, I want CV pictures. Give me CV pictures. So I was like, you know what? So many people are requesting it. I'll make a page. It's like I said, we were using that mod over on Pornhub because we couldn't use it on Twitch. The clamshell mod. So I put a bunch of screenshots from that mod on my website. These same people are all of a sudden, oh my god, we wanted nude pictures of Siri. No, that's not what you said. You wanted pictures of that mod on Siri in use. That's how you worded it. That's what you got. Word your wishes carefully. I will give you exactly what you wished for. Apparently they were expecting me to, you know, throw Siri in bed with Geralt. They wanted, you know, hey, let's throw the little minor teenage girl in bed with her stepfather because, hey, that's a thing. Apparently fans want that. Okay. Well, guess what? Guess you're in bed with that. So now you have all these nude pictures of Siri. And nude pictures of Evelyn. They went nuts. Oh my god, what the hell? We don't want pictures of Evelyn, dude. We want pictures of Siri. Okay. But then it gets even funnier. Because I made that back 2006, 2007, I don't remember what year it was. It probably says on it somewhere what the date was I made it. That's the page I'm looking for. There it is. There you go. Pejorative. I want this word in here. It is my goal to take every word on this list and use it somehow in the novel we're editing right now. This is a list of sensory words and strange words, just a list of words. Like, you know what? I'm going to find a way to use as many of these words as possible. I don't know if we're going to be able to use all of them, but we're going to try. I know there's a lot of duplicates here. All those sensory lists that we looked up the other day, can you see this? Yes, you can see it. Okay. I know it's not capturing the full screen. But I want to use as bleat. I can immediately think of where we can use bleat. That's around his nose. How can we use bleat in a novel that doesn't have Ghoulspawn? How is it I'm writing a novel without Ghoulspawn? Ghoulspawn was in the Twilight Manor series. He was actually one of the very first characters way, 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 way back in Friends of Forever. He appears in Friends of Forever with Roderick. He's one of the very first characters I ever created for anything. And I'm wondering, is he the first character? Who was the first character? Eelcat was the first character, right? And an Emperor Blue? Silver and Golding. Ghoulspawn and Roderick. Yeah, he is. He's one of the I created Ghoulspawn before I did Roderick. He's right there, one of the very first characters. Boom Fuzzy's actually a more recent character. Boom Fuzzy isn't in the original short stories. The original short stories, they talk about the fact that the Grand High Emperor had this lover that died, but it never says who it is. I didn't know who it was. There was never a point where I was planning to write a story about the Grand High Emperor. So it was always a character that was just mentioned in the background. It's like, yeah. The Twilight Manor was built by the Grand High Emperor of the Triple Planets, who was King Vaelda's father. And then people who were reading it would be like, so, who is this guy? I don't know. You're the one who wrote it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know who he is. So we slowly kept adding more details. And this room got added. My grandfather was very famous. He lived in Utah the last couple of decades of his life. Salt Lake City. If you've ever seen Temple Square, you know it exists in Temple Square. You have the Mormon Temple. And because of what exists in the Temple Square, you have the Mormon Temple with huge chain link fence and barbed wire over the top and guards, and because of people like my grandfather. For about 20 years, maybe closer to 30 years, because I'm not sure when exactly what year he started doing it. My grandfather got it into his head that he was the actual prophet of the Mormon Church. God had come down and told him that. God also told him to go invade the Mormon church and march around with signs. And he got arrested several times because of it. March around with signs, tell people he was the true prophet, condemn people, attack people, beat people up. Do anything possible to make sure they did not get into the temple, because they were not allowed to go into the temple, because he hadn't given them permission to go into the temple, because after a few years he was no longer the prophet, but he was the right hand of God. And at the time he died, he was kind of calling himself God. Of course, we all know what he did before he started doing that, don't we? I'm blessed with a grandfather, David Henry Atwater. His best friend. I bet the website's still up. Let's see. Never seen it. Let's see if we can find that lovely website. Taken a very long time to load it, but yeah, there it is. Ain't my grandfather wonderful? I don't know who runs the website anymore because my uncle Reverend Bruce Atwater died last year from COVID-19. But obviously somebody's keeping the website up, because it's still here. Oh, this has been removed. That's fascinating. The link to that page has been removed. Yeah. Doing, bowing, up and popping, ip and bip and kip and cool. Oh my god. This is why I won't play Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk decided, hey, you know what? Crazy jackass decided to murder 39 people. Let's make fun of it. You know, he ran around calling himself a prophet, ran up and down the street. He was supposedly a prophet, you know, before he killed 39 people. Well, the prophet who runs around in the Cyberpunk video game quoting lines off that website and wearing a black plastic trash bag. In actuality, he wore a neon pink zoot suit like a gangster who walked out of the 1920s. Oh, guess what? He worked for Honey Fitz. He was Honey Fitz's driver. Did you ever hear me talk about how I know you're not part of the mafia when you tell me you're part of the mafia? Guess what? Honey Fitz is the so-called godfather who founded the so-called mafia. And my grandfather, who would later go on to become, Heaven's Gate lunatic, was his driver. Continued to dress like he was a 1920s gangster, like he was in his youth. But he went blind when he was 32. That's when he couldn't drive for Honey Fits anymore, and he had to come up with a new job. Well, his new job was, God told him he was a prophet. So he went to Salt Lake City and started staying out there by the Salt Lake Temple. And the only color he could see was pink, and if the pink was bright enough, he could see it. So he had all his clothes custom made, and he had all these suits that were bright fluorescent neon day glow pink. Because in the 1960s and 1970s, when, hey, guess what? Color was the thing. So he had access to really bright pink. Marched around with his signs out there because he was the prophet of God. Bright pink zoot suit. So when Cyberpunk shows you a crazy man running around calling himself the prophet wearing a trash bag, no, he always wore pink. The real person, he always wore pink, and he was my grandfather. He was David Henry Atwater. That was my grandfather. Anyways, because my grandfather was constantly having more fashion designers brought in to design more elaborately, insanely pink clothes, I decided, you know what? Let's have a room in the Twilight Manor that is just my grandfather's actual wardrobe. Aisle after aisle after aisle after aisle after aisle of wild, crazy neon pink clothes. So all of a sudden a story shows up where that's a scene for no reason at all. And it just has a character, is it Roderick? Earl King. That's Roderick. It just has a character say, this is the wardrobe of the Grand High Emperor. Always wore pink. And because he built this house, here's his bedroom, here's his wardrobe. So the Twilight Manor series, it just kept adding things like that. You never saw the Grand High Emperor. You didn't know who he was. There was never a point where he was ever in any story. It was always, yeah, he's the guy that built this house. Yeah, here's his pink wardrobe. Yeah, he has this stuff in the basement. He was a mage. He was a wizard. Here's all these things that he had. And so you are constantly seeing all this stuff. And over the years, we built up this massive background story for this character who had never been in the series. Readers kept asking. They just kept asking, who is this guy? Where is this guy? What is this character? We want to see this character. And I was like, okay. Well, here he is. I didn't have a name for him or anything. It's just like, I have no clue who this character is. What are we going to call him? Well, we'll call him Quaraun. Now he's got a name. And Quaraun became a more popular character than the original characters were. Readers just all of a sudden were like, oh my god, I love this guy. Which I didn't expect. And originally, a lot of the Quaraun stories were published online. And then the website went, we're going to change servers, and we're going to change terms of service, and hey, guess what? We're just going to delete everything off the website and not tell anybody ahead of time. So they deleted everything off the website, and then a few days later, after they did it, they sent out an email. So we deleted everything. We were changing the website over. You're okay to just re-upload it. So just take your copies from, you know, over here and re-upload it. And I was like, really? I have over 2,000 short stories. You expect that I posted for this huge amount of years. You want me to re-upload all of those? Do you know how long that's going to take me? That happened in 2012. And then I started getting all these emails from people. They were, oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I was reading it. I wasn't finished reading. I wanted to finish reading. And I was like, yeah, they kind of got deleted. So then I got the idea, you know what? We're coming right up on the 35th anniversary. Why don't I compile the short stories into novel versions and put them up on Amazon readers? I asked over on Facebook, a Facebook group for it. And so I asked people there, you know, which ones do you want up? And everybody was Boom Fuzzy. They wanted Boom Fuzzy as a novel. That's the one with the gingerbread house on the cover. And the Screaming Unicorn. And Swamp of Death. And I was like, okay, well, let's take these short stories and turn them into novels. And so those were all released in 2014, the novel editions. They were online where you could read them for free online until 2012. And if you go, you can search. There are so many authors who were so pissed off, so bad. What did they call it? There was a thing, I can't remember what it is. There was a thing, these people were so mad. Because most of them didn't have backups. I had backups of everything, you know, and I got everything stored on a hard drive. So when they all got deleted off this website, it's like, well, okay. I'll just publish them on Amazon. Why not? But then everybody who used that website, a lot of people, I didn't realize this was a thing that a lot of people did. Is it safe to go on that website? It used to be, but you know how website is. Is it safe to go on this website? Yes. Okay. I see ads. There's no pictures, though, right? They removed the pictures. I'm pretty sure they did. But we have... No. Stop. The YouTube video just all of a sudden decided, hey, I'm going to load and play. Don't do that. No. Okay. Let's get this up there. No, don't do that. Okay. I want to move this. No. OBS is saying, no, I don't want to do anything. We're having an OBS issue over here, which I'm not sure if it's actually an OBS issue or is it a mouse issue. My mouse is acting up because it was doing something over here too. Can I put this over here? There we go. I'm trying to get this to move. Why can't I move that? I can move that one. Why can't I move this one? There it goes. It would not click on it. I want this moved down here. Move that down there. There we go. That's better. I used to publish it here. And what we're talking about right now? They're doing it again. Website login area is currently offline due to a server migration. Okay. Oh, why do they have so much trouble with server migration? Why do they change servers so often? But I started posting the Quaraun short stories here in 1996. Was it 1996 or 1994? Because I had my account here before I started building websites. I started building websites in 1996. I think I had the account here in 1994. I don't know. I would have to log in to check. I'm not interested in logging in right now. That wasn't what I was doing. I was doing something else. But anyways, I was posting a short story several times a week, almost daily, here. And there were over 2,000 of them. By 2012, when their website, they were like, we're changing servers. We deleted our entire website. Our server's back up. We got a new server. Come upload your stuff, after we deleted it and didn't tell you ahead of time. Everybody was so mad. And if you search for it, there was an actual term that you could search for, and you could find these blog posts. And there were over 12,000 of them. There were over 12,000 angry authors who had written stuff for this website, written their stuff and put it on this website. And when you go, no, that's not what I want. I think you have to log in to access it, right? Yeah, I don't want to log in. Okay, there's a section on the site where when you want to upload something, you have the option to, you typed it up as a text file, which is what I do. Type it up as a text file, and then you can upload the file. So you still have your file, and you upload a copy to their website. But when you open that page, it has it has a thing like this. That's fine. Yeah, it has a thing like this that opens up where you can type directly into the page. So you can just type right into the page. You type your story on the website and then click save. So you don't end up with a hard copy saved on your computer. Your only copy is your copy that you posted on this website. Well, I never do it that way. I always type in a text file. I've always done that. Not just this website, but everything. I type, even when you see me type something on, when I post something on Reddit, which I don't post something on Reddit very often, I type it into this. I type it in here first, which is, Yeah, I type it in here first. There it goes. And after I typed it in there, just like I do for a novel, I edit it. Yes, I edit my Reddit posts. I edit it in the Hemingway app, in here, in here, in here. Exactly what you see. Same thing you see me doing when I'm editing my novels. I will not post a Reddit post or any other post. If I'm in your chat on Twitch, I edit all what I type before I post it in your Twitch chat. I will not post anything anywhere online without editing it first, even if it's a comment on Twitch in chat. YouTube comments everything. So everything I type, I have a copy of it before I post it online, and it's all saved in EditPad here, because that's where I type them up. So when they had their server issue, all my stuff got deleted off the site, but I still had copies of it. So I could have gone back and re-uploaded them. I just didn't. Instead, I decided, you know what? These were a lot of short stories that can be connected into novels. Let's take all the short stories and connect them into novels, which is what you see me do now. Why we have this. We now have book covers, which we didn't have originally. We now have book covers because now they are going to be books, which I think I have one of them right here where I can reach it. Right there, one right here. Yes, there is. Yeah, see, they get printed up. We print them up now as actual books you can buy. And I take several of the short stories, combine them together, then rewrite them and edit them, and they become a novel. That's what we're doing right now with Calum and the Necromancer. Was 3 different short stories. We're now combining them and re-editing the whole thing to make it a novel. Which I know we haven't done any edit in this stream yet, and we're at 2 hours and 27 minutes. Oh well. Anyways, if you search fanfiction.net, this is fanfiction.net also. Let's see that. If you search fanfiction.net, I think they don't have original works on this site. They made a sister site. What's their sister site called? They made a sister site. What's this? All the original works got moved. They're not on fanfiction.net anymore. Is it A Story of Our Own? Is that the name of it? Fanfiction.net. Archive of Our Own. That's it. Archive of Our Own. This person. Oh, they're mad at fanfiction.net. They said all their stuff got stolen and they're moving it to Archive of Our Own. There it is. This is literally the same website. Archive of Our Own and fanfiction.net are the same website. It used to be one big website, and it got too big for their server. So they cut it into two sites, one that is just fanfiction and one that is original characters. Archive of Our Own used to be a category in fanfiction.net. That's where I was posting the Quaraun series. It wasn't fanfiction, it was original stories for people who needed a place to post it and didn't want to post fanfiction. So it became its own website when it got too big to be just a category. That post there was all my stuff was stolen, so I'm good leaving fanfiction.net. I'm going to Archive of Our Own. It's the same website. It's literally the same website. Okay. We were trying to figure out what melodrama is in terms of how this person is using it. I have a theme I actually like, but seems too melodramatic for a story. So I reserved that one for the antagonist and let a simpler one to my main character so the story doesn't get too heavy. I also struggle a lot to connect all characters' conflicts to the main theme, and I fear that connecting them would lead to characteristics would lead those characters to become too equal to similar. Anyways, do you know what should be done in a case like this, or do you know any examples of overly complex? I'm absolutely an amateur writer. And then this advice doesn't seem quite... the length of it doesn't sound like it's an amateur writer either. I don't know what they mean by melodramatic. I think they're using the word wrong. Like they're using some type of a slang term? A slang definition that isn't this? Because nothing we have read here describes how they are using melodrama. I don't know what they mean. It had an alternative. Other uses see melodrama refers to, may also refer to melodrama is a dramatic work which exaggerates plot and characters in order to appeal to the emotions. Why couldn't they say that on the other page? Exaggerates plot and characters to appeal to emotions. They're saying that every character has a theme, and the main story has a theme, and the theme they want to use is too melodramatic, so they're giving it to the villain. And they need a more simple theme for the main character. I don't think they know what theme or melodramatic means, and I think that's what's confusing me. And I had 3 comments here, and now there's 6 comments. Stories aren't necessarily limited to one theme, and really theme is an abstract, fuzzy structure that writers and readers rely on to make sense of the story. The whole reason I opened this is because I've never used a theme in any of the novels I've ever written. And I've published 138 novels, and I've never used a theme. And I don't know what a theme in a story is. And I see so many, every time I see somebody that puts theme in the title, I always open them, because I'm constantly trying to figure out what are they talking about. And I still don't know. And this one isn't any less confusing than any of the others I've ever seen. Theme is an abstract, fuzzy structure that writers and readers rely on to make sense of a story. It's more of a guide, I'd say. An important one, but nothing to overthink. Well, if somebody who's been publishing novels for 50 years has never used a theme and doesn't know what it means to add a theme to your story or to write a story based on a theme, I don't think having a theme is very important. It seems like adding a theme to your novel and writing your novel around the theme might be a kind of modern new invention that wasn't around when I learned how to write. For instance, maybe death is the theme. But that say anything more specific about it. This is why I always edit before I comment on it. I think most people type their answers right into the Reddit comment box and don't bother to read before they post it to see if it's readable. For instance, maybe death is the theme, but that say anything more specific about it. That is outright gibberish. It's not a story in itself. It's a kind of glue to ensure everything you write is relevant and makes sense together in a way outside of physical action. If your characters aren't relating to your theme, 9 cats. They used to be painted on my car. I collect my own cats. And if you didn't know, 9 cats all over the news today. That little teeny video I just showed you, that is 3 minutes long. He just sold it for $600,000. So now somebody else has it. And he gets to keep royalties from the money they make off of it. Ben's all excited about it. Never heard of these things before. He's looking at them. What's up with that? If your characters aren't relating to your themes, you might want to think about cutting them or reserving them for another story. Or maybe you just need to reflect a little more and more appropriate, and a more appropriate theme will emerge. So you want a story about young clovers and don't have an overall theme. Analyze it. I don't know. I am left still confused and not knowing what are themes in novels and why would you try to use them? I think people overthink their writing too much. That's what I think. Or why can't people just sit down and write a story? Why are the words of hit fantasy authors so basic? 73% of the American population reads at a 3rd grade level. If you write at anything higher than a 3rd grade level, most of America can't understand what you wrote. Bestsellers are in the habit of writing simple. That's why they are bestsellers. People understand it, they like it, they're like, hey, I get this. And they recommend it to somebody else who also reads it and understands it. And oh my God, I understand it. I see it come a question. There's a question. Is that actually a thing? To those who use the save the cat method. You know, we were talking about the save the cat method. We had a big long rant about it the other day, and I didn't finish my rant. The author of Save the Cat never wrote a novel. And they're trying to teach you how to write a novel. You know what? If you want to learn to become a millionaire, you don't ask the homeless guy. You ask Bill Gates. So if you want to learn to write a novel, why do you ask the guy who's, well, I've never written a novel in my life, but I'm going to tell you how to write one. The advice in this book overall is okay. It's not necessarily bad advice because he went and read books to go, yeah, that is how they wrote this, so I'm going to analyze it and tell you this is what I learned from analyzing this book, so this is how you should write. But then people take it as though it's gospel truth and they write exactly what he tells them as though it was a fill-in-the-blank thing. It's so damn ridiculous. Pro-writing aid, we use that all the time. Oh, but no, I actually can say. It says do this, and it says no, don't do that. Just kidding. Better understanding of the situation. To depict alien culture with any level of diversity, authors will have to be as diverse as the languages on Earth. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. He's one of the mods on my channel. The guy, his hair is really, really white. It's like a pale blonde, but then his beard is bright red, and he hasn't streamed for over a year. He's been really sick. What is his name? Quaraun. God. I was in his streams. I'm always in his chat. He's one of the few I still use chat for. And I was cooking, and I got up and I went out to get something out of the kitchen. When I came back, there was this weird gibber that had been posted on, and Rascal was curled up asleep on my keyboard. Lay a cat, walk across the keyboard a few times, then divide the number of characters generated by the number of names you need. Every writer on this sub, I'm worried I might offend someone. I need to comment on that, but I'm going to comment on it because I know this. What do you have to say about this subject that I absolutely hate? Is wordless singing a thing? What are we doing about this one? Hi, Russ. You on your way through? Dialogue tech enthusiast. I do not understand the question. I wouldn't class those things as a character flaw. I'd say that our situational circumstances. Flaws are that she is poor, she's hungry, she's frazzled, so others can check that. Yeah. Listen, I read this book. The author admits, I've never written a novel. Several times. And they're given writing advice at this person's point. Now, They're saying this is a flawed hero and these things aren't character flaws. What are they talking about? Yeah. You can tell a great story about a horrible character, for instance. Yeah, everybody's basically agreeing. They're all kind of pointing out the same thing. Yeah, the author of that book don't know what they're talking about. Look, this is not a character flaw. Good 90% of the people who have never published anything and are given advice on this subreddit, they always reference that book. I read this book, and this book says you should do this and that. And it's, you are aware that that author has never published a novel. They wrote screenplays for a TV series. I can't remember which one it was. It was like Friends or something. Some big TV series that I don't watch, so I didn't remember what it is. They wrote the script for a TV series, and that's quite different from a novel. And they admit that. You'll never wrote a novel. I found it slightly helpful, but not worth purchasing the full services. Yeah, it's the thing. I had a paid account before. I'd bought a year of it. It was like 10, 12 years ago. It was way back when they first came out. Whatever year it came out, which was maybe 2010, around that era. It was a long time ago. It was when it first came out, and I had I agree with this. It says, it's good for punctuation, sometimes grammar, but for writing style, it's a cardinal mistake to follow each and every suggestion it has. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, day or two, one of the previous streams that you will have already seen by now. I was saying that where I was debating, they're talking about this one right here. That's having map. No, the other one it will load. Have we got an issue? Oh, we do. We got an issue. I see it. Wait a minute. Okay. I was just wondering. It's acting like there's something running in the background. There is something running in the background. Can you close? No, go ahead and discard. I already saved it. There we go. This is the app. This question here This question here is talking about this app here. You can see that, right? Yes. This app right here. They What is your review of Pro Writing Aid? I found it slightly helpful but not worth purchasing the full services. And then my license is lifetime. I like it for catching all my repeated words and for passive voice also for, yeah, I don't use that either before I give it to a human editor. Passive voice detector is seriously irritating. Like, I need passive voice once in a while for more impactful writing. That's true. There are some moments I'm like, I need this. Other times I'm like, how can I reword, structure this sentence? It's good for punctuation and sometimes grammar, but as for writing style, it's a cardinal mistake to follow each and every suggestion it has. Hey, Rask. Rask is coming through again. Tell you what, I have written a short story. I made 2 drafts of it. One I will edit myself, and one I will edit using as much suggestion from the app, and then compare them and find out which is which. I appreciate the app for what it's worth, but it's not a replacement for a human editor. Yeah, I agree with what these two are both saying. Because that's what I was talking about the other day, is I like that this is, of all the writing apps out there that help you edit a novel, this is definitely the best one. But it's not made for novel writing. It is made for business writing. So, professional writing. It's made for, like, what I was talking about, where if you're a lawyer and you want to write a business letter, you want to write a court document. If you're a police officer and you want to write an accident report. If you're a college student getting your master's degree and you need to write a thesis, this is what that's designed for. This program is designed to give you clean, clear, crisp, just pristine, perfect. It's designed also to remove any hint of author voice. So if you was to take every one of these things, and it has a lot of them, all of these things, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. If you took all 23 of those things, ran it through all of them, and did absolutely everything it said to do, every time it underlined something that says do this, you would completely remove author voice. And you want that if you're writing an essay for college. You want that if you're writing a professional letter for a business. You want that if you're writing something for court. You want that if you're writing something to file for your police report. That's where you want that. So this is really good for that. But when it comes to non-professional writing, which is writing novels, writing short stories, writing plays, places where you use creative writing, not professional writing, this is not as good for that. It will do all these things you need it to do, but it can do too much. So you would want to go through and, like here, are you going to make me the spell or not? Gonna is not a word you would want in professional writing. But this is creative writing, and it's dialogue. So it tells you, yeah, go into is the correct word. Change it to go into. But this character is fairly uneducated. He doesn't use proper grammar when he talks, and he uses slang words like gonna, not going to. So, I don't want to remove that. It says there are 5 spelling issues and 3 grammar issues. What are they? Okay, this character, he's nervous, and he stutters, and he stammers, and he's like, I don't know what to say type of character. So he, a lot, which Quaraun points out. He's gone into all this detail about, I need this and this and this, and Quaraun's like, okay, well, you're gonna pay me. And Caleb's now gone into, well, I have this. He's talking about money, and Quaraun has had a rant about, you know what? Money don't mean shit to me. I'm wealthy. I'm an emperor. I don't need money. And then you get to this point, the kid's like, I don't know. And so you have, what besides money do you have to pay me with? You do like your don't you? Quaraun's pointing out that he's kind of getting sick of this kid. This kid's not taking a hint. He really wants this kid to leave. In this situation, in this scene, Quaraun has just murdered somebody. So there is literally a dead body laying on the ground behind the table. There's this big table there. And from where Caleb's standing, he can't see that there's a dead body over there. And Quaraun is very much, I want you to leave. I just killed somebody. I need to get rid of this body. You're interrupting me. And he can't get this kid to take a hint that, you know what, leave. Go. And the kid is, Quaraun's getting more and more irritated, and the kid is getting more and more scared. So his dialogue is falling apart. So you see, and he's having a hard time missing the comma. Okay. So these lines, if it was professional writing, yeah, you would remove those things. Those are things you would remove. But in dialogue in creative writing, no, these are things specific to how this character talks. So no, we don't want to remove them. Where is passive voice in this? It's in repeats. No. Repetition is another thing. If you notice, I never, when we're editing, wait a minute, I've moved it out of line of the screen. You can't see it anymore. There we go. Yeah, repeat checks. If you notice, when I'm editing a novel, I never use this section, the repeat checks, because repetition is something I put into the Quaraun novels. There's a lot of repetition. Like this. Quaraun is, he's not mentally functioning well. We'll find a place where we do it. We need a place, yeah, well, here's a can see the repetition shows up. Where Quaraun is upset. He is reading, he has just gone through the town, and there's wanted posters everywhere of him. Where does it say it? I know it's right here. It says it somewhere on one of these pages. Yes, here it is. This. And so Quaraun had gone around the town taking down all the wanted posters, and now sat in the bar carefully crossing out the word insane, writing underneath it, "I'm not insane, I'm the pink necromancer wizard of the Daishin Order." And in a few hours he would be hanging the posters back where he had found them. He did this in every town, as it deeply annoyed him when people called him Quaraun the Insane. "I'm not insane," Quaraun muttered as he crossed out the word insane on yet another poster. He's going around town taking down the wanted posters. And he's now in a tavern with this big stack of wanted posters, crossing out the word Quaraun the Insane, writing "I'm not insane," and then putting under it that he's the pig necromancer. And then he goes back around the town and hangs them back up. Can't just shut up. But you see over and over again throughout the series, people call him Quaraun the Insane. His response is always, "I'm not insane." And then he has a little monologue thing of, "I'm not insane." And he'll start saying it over and over again. He repeats himself a lot. Which is what you're now seeing happening. He's now doing this inner... This is Quaraun's thoughts. When you see this happen, this is Quaraun's thoughts, which you pick up on that rather quickly when you start reading it. "I'm not insane," Quaraun muttered as he crossed out the word insane and yet another poster. Quaraun used to be upper class, respectable, respected. He used to be a lot of things, an aristocrat. And yes, he does talk about himself in third person, so yeah. And so it's listing off all these things, and if you pay attention, it starts repeating itself a lot, the words. You can see it here. He gave it all up for love and a wish that had cost him everything, a wish for love, eternal love, love that would never die. He gave up everything for love, except he loved someone society deemed not worthy. It repeats. It'll take a word and repeat it every single line. So it's repeating back and forth every other line, love, wish, love, wish, love, wish, and then it starts going love, 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 love. And then it switches, and now it goes to Boom Fuzzy. Boom Fuzzy. But now Boom Fuzzy was dead. Everyone was dead. Everyone who hated Boom Fuzzy. Everyone who drove Boom Fuzzy to suicide. Every last moon elf. So you see Boom Fuzzy, Boom Fuzzy, Boom Fuzzy, Boom Fuzzy. At the same time, you start seeing everyone, 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 and it keeps going that way. A lot of the Quaraun series is written in poetry format. So that's why you're seeing that happen. And then it sometimes does this, where you are seeing outright an entire section of the same thing. And then it says, wanted dead or alive, preferably dead, read to heaven. Under that was his name, almost. His name was Quaraun. Quaraun Swanson. Quaraun Swanson, Grand High Emperor of the Triple Planets. Quaraun a Moon Elf. Quaraun the Last Moon Elf. Quaraun the Wizard. Quaraun Wizard of the Daishin Order. Quaraun the Pink Necromancer. Quaraun the Merchant. Quaraun the Tailor. Quaraun Weaver of Pink Thulid Silk. Quaraun Merchant of Magic Items. Quaraun Traveling Wizard for Hire. But that's not what the paper said. Quaraun had the name printed on the water poster. Quaraun the Insane. Insane, he hated that term, a label. Quaraun hated labels. Everyone had labels for him. Abrasive terms, hateful slurs. I'm not insane, Quaraun continued. Quaraun continued to mutter between glasses of wine. Again, repetition, over and over and over again. And I know there's a place, it's further down where, yeah, and it does it again here, where he starts talking about Boom Fuzzy, and you start seeing Boom Fuzzy's name, and then Gomag's name, which is Boom Fuzzy's real name. Boom Fuzzy's nickname. And you see it here again, where arguing with a character, am not, R2, am not, it starts. There is a lot of repetition. And that is an active design choice. And again, here you are seeing this is Quaraun talking again. It sometimes other characters, but when it switches to poetry, it is almost always Quaraun. That's just how he talks. And he talks like that in dialogue with other characters, and he talks like that when he's just wandering around talking to himself. He speaks largely in poetry. And it says, it hurts, it hurts so bad, stiff, uncomfortable, it is painful to lay on. Why am I laying on it? It hurts, I hurt, I ache all over. And unless the whole thing goes down, no. And it starts way back. Oh, it starts way back. It goes all the way up here. No shrubs grow here. I can't feel any grass. No ferns, no hedges, no plants, no foliage. No hedges, no shrubberies, no thickets, no grass, no bushes, no cranes. There are no forests here. I don't feel any grass or bushes. No fence, no plants, no leaves. There is no fence. There are no bushes. You can see it just keeps going and going, where everything starts with no. And then over here, it's all single words. Why is it so damn dark in here? I can't see a thing. Searching, probing through the darkness for anything that might reveal to me where I am. Pylon, scaffolding, plank, joist, pillar, rough, old, crumbling, decayed, decomposed, moldering, rotted. It will collapse. This whole place will fall in on me. There's another one. Here's the one I was looking for. This is where his repetition shows up when he's having some type of a panic attack. He starts doing this. Every time you see a scene where he's having a panic attack, it goes into this thing, which you have here. And why is this scene started? Why does he start panicking? He can't find an exit. Okay, he's lost. Miles of endless nothing. How long is this tunnel? When does it end? It's ghastly, foreboding and ghastly, ghastly and foreboding. I miss Boom Fuzzy. And, yes, now he's going down talking about Boom Fuzzy. It's ghastly, foreboding and ghastly, ghastly and foreboding. I miss Boom Fuzzy. I feel so very alone and abandoned, just so alone, unloved, unwanted. Left behind, cast aside, I have no one. I'm going to die down here, lost and alone, and no one will. And also, if you are somebody who was a fan of a specific series in the 1970s, which is very rare, and I had the entire set, and I think it might be at Ben's house. I don't think it's here. I'm pretty sure it's at Ben's house. I don't read it. I have the whole thing memorized. I don't need to read it. These scenes like this, every time I start writing these, I just completely have Walrus stuck in my head. And it was funny. When I was in college, we had an assignment. It was in art class. They wanted us to draw a perspective. And the assignment was take a book, any book, kid's book, novel, short story, something, fiction. Take a book that describes a house and draw it. We had to, the teacher wanted, it had to be a specific, it had to be this, he was showing us, it was Jeffrey Badger, he was showing us this thing, you know, it has to be this is the way this artist did it. We want to learn how to draw with this perspective. This is how we draw with this perspective. Now here's your assignment. And so we had to go home. That was our assignment to do, bring back homework at college. And you had to look at this perspective that this artist did. It was kind of an awkward perspective. That's why it was trying to teach us how to do this. And find a house in some type of a story and draw it in this perspective. And so I drew Vulture's house, and Vulture lives across the street from Walrus. And I have these books memorized. Somebody noticed that username too, because I have another username that I use. Somebody noticed it, and they're like, "This is you, isn't it? Is this you? This talks like you. Is this you? What the hell is this username?" And I'm like, "Oh, Vulture! I love Vulture." They're like, "Yeah, I thought it was you because the way you talk about Lunch the Showroom and the way you talk about Scrooge McDuck, this had to be you. Who is this character?" Well, before Scrooge McDuck and Lunch the Showroom and Avalac and all of them, there was Vulture and Walrus. Possibly my first favorite character. I was not very old. He said, "This is a children's picture book series." So we had to draw a picture of this house. And the way I drew it was, you were standing in Vulture's house, looking out the window, and you could see Walrus's house. And the houses have signs over the door that says, "This is Vulture's house, this is Walrus's house." That's the way the characters are in this series. And we had to hang all our stuff up on the wall. And then he went around and talked about what his thoughts were from seeing everybody's art. And he got to mine, and he's looking at it, and he goes, "Walrus!" He says, "I have that book. I read that book when I was a kid." He said, "I didn't know there was anybody who knew that. That book is so rare." I was like, "Oh my God." I was the same way. Whenever I talk about Walrus, nobody knows who that is. The books were not mass produced, so the only way to get them, it was a TV show, it was Bill Cosby's Picture Pages, and the only way to get them, you had to write a letter to Bill Cosby every week, and he mailed you these books. It was so hard to get them. There's no other way to get them. They were not sold in the stores. You can't get them any other way. You had to watch this TV show, and at the end, Bill Cosby's like, "So, write this letter to me, fan mail, and I will send you the next copy of the book." And there's 26 books in the series, because there was one for each letter of the alphabet. And I have all 26. But I started writing like this because of Walrus. The entire story, it starts out, he's supposed to be like 8 years old. He's a kid. And he's got a bike for his birthday. He's never ridden on a bike before. Who is the one? It's Lion and Piglet who are with him, right? Lion and Pig? They're all animals, and their names are just the animal name. I think it's Lion and Pig who are with him. There's 2 other friends with him anyways. And they're, oh boy, you got this bike for your birthday. Let's go ride our bikes. We'll all ride our bike together. And he won't get on the bike. It's like, no, I'm gonna die. And it starts out, the first page, I'm gonna hit a rock and I'm gonna fall off. And his friends are like, oh yeah, that's fine. You just get back on the bike and do it again. And then you turn to the next page and it's, no. I'm gonna hit a rock, I'm gonna fall off the bike, I'm gonna break my leg. And they're like, no, that ain't gonna happen. And so you turn the page. No, I'm gonna hit a rock, I'm gonna fall off the bike, I'm gonna break my leg, and there's gonna be a tornado. And they're like, we don't have tornadoes around here. And it just keeps going. He adds something every single time. And by the time it gets to the end, you now have this whole long paragraph. And there's this scene where there's a helicopter flying by, and they didn't have room they needed to take him to the hospital, and they couldn't take him to the hospital because there was a flood because of the tornado. It had broken the dam, and the city's flooded. You can't get anywhere. There's a run at the hospital. There are just so many people there. Now they got to take him to a hospital somewhere else. So he's being airlifted in a helicopter, but there's too many patients in the helicopter. So he's hanging from a bed underneath the helicopter, and then the helicopter crashes and he drowns in the river. And his friends are like, we're just trying to teach you how to ride a bike. What the hell? It is so funny. You watch him start out as he's scared to get on the bike, and one thing after another keeps adding to it. And then finally his friends leave, and they're like, you know what? You're crazy. We're gonna ride our bikes to the park. You do what you want to do over here. We're just gonna go. And so they leave, and then he gets on his bike and he runs into a tree, and he's laying there on the ground screaming because, oh my God, I'm gonna die and all this stuff is gonna happen. And then he gets up and he's like, wait, I'm okay. Oh, Walrus is definitely the funniest one in the series because of that he is just absolutely paranoid on so many extremes. And when I write these scenes where Quaraun is doing this stuff, it's just, that's why I write them like this. If you look at how Worried Walrus is written, that's how it's written. It's one thing, and now it's 2 things, and then it's 3 things, and then it's 4 things, and it just keeps repeating itself over and over and over and over, and every time it repeats, it's longer. And he works himself into this hyper spiral of, oh my God, everything is going to happen. It's all bad. I'm going to die. We're all going to die. Everything's going to happen, and then nothing happens. And I write Quaraun to have that type of a personality. And Ben is so helpful. When I was writing, what's the name of it? I can can remember it. Remember the name of my own books. The Vampire Leprechaun of Fire Mountain. When I was writing The Vampire Leprechaun of Fire Mountain, that one everybody complains about. That's the one everybody complains about. Oh, that one gets more complaints than any other novel in the series. When I was writing that one, I was in the middle of writing it. And I think we still had Buddy. Didn't I still have Buddy back then? I still had Buddy. It was a long time ago. We're out in the backyard anyways. And there's a tree fell over, went across the brook. And so it's a log laying across the brook. Well, you've seen my brook. My ankles don't get under the water when we walk across the brook. It's barely 3 inches deep. It's about that deep. It's not even a brook. If you've read that novel, you know the scene. But you may not know why I wrote it. A tree fell down across the brook. The brook is also barely a foot wide. You can literally step across it and not get wet. And if you fall down, you may not get wet either. There's not enough water. So, there's this log across the brook. And I'm doing stuff. I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably doing something with the flowers. I was doing something. I was going back and forth. And Ben comes over. I said, Ben is so helpful. He's writing the Quaraun series. Ben comes over. And I've got whatever it is I've got. And I'm going across the brook, just walking across this log, and Ben comes screaming over. You're getting drowned! You can't do that! You can't! Ah! You know what? If you're stupid enough to drown in this brook, you probably deserve to drown. How are you gonna drown in this brook? I am wider than the brook is, and it's there's not enough water. You couldn't put this cup in and get water to drink. There's not enough water. He's up there shrieking and screaming at the top of his lungs. Ah, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? And he's just going on and on and on and on and on, just like Murray Dwellers. He's going on and on and on and on and on. You're gonna break your neck. You're gonna end up at the hospital. I'm gonna take you to the hospital. And you're like, you know what? I've got my ditchy memo with me. I gotta write this down. So I'm writing down everything he is saying. He's just going on and on and on and on and on. He's having an absolute total meltdown because, oh my God, you're trying to cross a brook that's 2 inches deep and 1 foot wide. I have so much video footage of that log and that brook. And this year, I have a recent new video footage. March 2021, can't remember which day. It was near the end of the month. I'm vlogging and recording, and Ben's there. Got my vlog camera going. We're out in the yard doing yard work. And I can see from where I am, I haven't gone down by this log, I can see from where I am Oh, did the log break? So I go over, because my yard's quite huge, and I go over. There's a rock sticking up out of the water. I stop before I get to the log. I want to take this rock and put it over in the garden. I put it in the garden, plant some flowers near it. It's just, you know, it's a nice looking rock. So I'm leaning over the brook to pick up this rock to put in my garden. And Ben comes screaming across the yard. But this time, I have the camera running. So this time, he's doing the same thing again. This time I've got it on camera. He's screaming across the yard. You're gonna drown. You can't do that. There's less water in the brook now than there was when he did it years ago. It's not even running. It's a mud puddle. It's not running. It's just a puddle. I don't think it's my old fingertip deep. It's not even a half inch. He's screaming, I'm gonna drown. You're gonna drown. Get away from me, you're drowning. And then he's like, what are you doing? I'm moving this rock. I want it over there. It's over here, and I want it over there. He's like, well, I'm a man. Women don't know how to do stuff like this. I'm gonna do it. Right. And then he falls in the brook. Oh. And he goes screaming all the way across the yard. He's carrying the rock. He got the rock out of the brook. He's screaming all the way across the yard. I'm flat. I'm gonna die. Puts the rock in the garden. Screams his way all the way back to the brook to where I was. So now I continue on because, like I said, I started over here because it looks like the log's broken. I was trying to figure out, why is the log broken? I use that for a bridge. Why is it broken? And I get over there and I'm like, oh my god. Okay. I see why the log's broken. And Ben comes over, he's, what are you looking at? He's forgotten the panic attack he just got done having half a second ago. And I'm like, a bear ripped up my tree. I should think before I say things like that. But this log has started to rot, and ants have gone and lived inside of it. And it's March 2021. This just happened a few weeks ago. And bear are coming out of hibernation, and what do? They rip up logs looking for ants to eat. Well, a bear has ripped up this log. The log is in pieces all over the place, completely inside out. There's a piece of it over there, there's a piece of it over there. It's obliterated. There's nothing left of it. And you can see these massive bear claws where a bear ripped this thing apart. So, lots more screaming and hysterical. Oh my god, I'm gonna die, just back up here. Half the time when you see these things in the Quaraun novels where Quaraun is shrieking and screaming and having a fit, usually it's something that Ben did in real life, and I was like, damn, I gotta have Quaraun do this. But Ben talks like this. Would I point out to him that, you talk funny? No, normal people don't talk like this. He's like, I'm normal. There's nothing wrong with me. Oh yes. Completely normal. Okay. Ah, so it's a combination of remembering Worried Walrus and living with Ben, where I end up with these scenes like this where it says it's ghastly, foreboding and ghastly, ghastly and foreboding. I miss Boom Fuzzy. I feel so very alone and abandoned. Just so alone, alone, unloved, unwanted, left behind, cast aside. I have no one. I'm going to die down here, lost and alone. And no one will know I died. No one will know where to look for me. Wolves will eat my body at... I'm all alone. We just found an error. That's why I always should do these. I'm all alone. Alone, nothing but darkness all around. The lonesome darkness all around me, above, beside, below. Isolation, desolation, seclusion, dark and morbid, morbid and dark. The aloneness of how very alone I feel is bearing down heavy on me in this endless eternal darkness. Gloom and doom, doom and gloom, depressed and forlorn, ominous and sad, sad and dismal. The anguish, bitterness and misery and despair. I can feel it all around me. No. I can feel it all around me, my depression bearing down on me worse than ever before. Like a sickly presence I cannot escape. It follows me everywhere. I hate it. Why won't it leave me over? Day and night, night and day, always there, always watching, always waiting, waiting and watching, watching and waiting. Now I'm lost in the darkness in this endless cave. I feel the dark depths of despair crashing down around me, crushing me. If that's what I said that? Yes. Crushing me heart and soul, yes. Crushing me heart and soul, body and mind, mind and body, soul and heart. My soul is cut in half, there's an error. My soul is cut in half. Half my soul is in Boom Fuzzy, and Boom Fuzzy's dead. Half my soul is dead. I'm half dead, half alive, and lost in the dark. Ben talks like that when he's having a panic attack, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Let me write about it. But that's what I said, when this editing program is telling me, yeah, you can't have these things. Those aren't correct grammar. Those aren't proper grammar. You're saying that too many times. Too many repeats. I put the repeats in deliberately. And there's a lot of passive voice. I put that in deliberately because, like I said, a lot of the Quaraun series is written in poetry format. A lot of it is outright poetry, just because Quaraun talks in poetry. That's just the way he talks. This is Quaraun talking. This is how he talks. And he's in a. I have no idea how long this monologue is. He's in a full monologue here. This is just going. That's why there's no parentheses, quotation marks. There's no quotation marks because the whole chapter is him having a meltdown monologue. It goes all the way to there and then it stops. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is a 7-page monologue. It's one of the longer monologues. I think it's the longest monologue in this novel, and it's one of the longer ones that I have around doing. This big block of dialogue here that is also Quaraun monologuing. He does it a lot. Vincent Price. If you watch Vincent Price's old movies, especially the Edgar Allan Poe ones. Oh! Vincent Price talks like that. I have multiple drinks sitting here open. Did I just put that on you? I put that on you. I didn't know you were there. I put the cans right here when I'm done with them. That way when I get up, I go to the kitchen, I can just pick them up, take them with me. With a recycling bin up there. And Mickey's like, I threw the can in the bin. He's like, wait a minute, that didn't go all the way down. What's here? You all touched it. Yeah, he likes staying right there beside the chair. Also, I need to get up and go to the bathroom. I have been sitting here for 4 hours. I need to go to the bathroom. I've gone through 3 drinks. Now, you are 12 ounces. You are 8.4 ounces. So I've gone through 24 plus 8 ounces of, that's 24 plus 8. Why can't I do that? 32? That's 32. I've gone through around somewhere 32 ounces of drink while I was sitting here. Anyways, I need to get up and go to the bathroom. So I will stop this here. We didn't get any editing done at all. We got a lot of talking about writing done. We didn't do any editing at all. If you watch the writing of Summoner of Darkness, which we live streamed at on YouTube, if you watch the writing of Summoner of Darkness, you know this is normal. This is how we write and edit. We may not be able to edit Summoner of Darkness on Twitch. Also, I made changes and we didn't save them. Save them because we lost 4 hours of work the other day. If you didn't know, we lost 7,000 words. Because even though the autosave is on, I had taken a section and I had gone over in a different program to edit it, and then I pasted it back in here, and I didn't save a copy of it in either place. And then my computer decided, hey, guess what? It's time to restart. And I don't know why it did it, but I think it did it because Rascal was over and behind, and I think he pulled out plug somewhere. It appeared he loosened up a wire somewhere, and it went blink blink enough for the computer to go, oh, I'm going to turn off. So that section did not get saved because the autosave didn't have time to trigger, and I didn't save it manually, so we ended up losing. It was 7,000 something words, I figured out. I remember after we checked when we were back on. We went to all the backup things for the autosave and stuff, and no, it wasn't there. It didn't have enough time because it did it right after I copied it out of here and pasted it into there, and I didn't save it here before I did that, and I should have, and then I didn't have time to save it over here after I did that, so it didn't get saved anywhere. Dazed, dizzy, bleeding, scraped, bruised, and confused. What happened? What did he do? Oh, he's hurt. Down, down, so far down into the pits of the hell, hot, boiling, bubbling tar pits of hell. Where am I? Why can't I remember? Why was it so hard to remember? Why was it so hard to remember? Why is it so hard to remember? Where am I? Why can't I remember? Why is it so hard to remember? Remember anything, something, nothing. With my back against a wall. Okay, yeah, he fell down. Also, I couldn't remember what happened to him. He fell down. Okay, let's have something. It's not hurt that much here, but there are the scenes where he gets messed up so bad. I hit my head too many times and tumbled through the darkness. Okay. I'm going to stop here because I need to go to the bathroom. I'm probably going to be back on in a few minutes.